You know, I am really sad because after this video, I will no longer be a quirky teen. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, hi, my name is Zaria Smith, and I typically make commentary videos just like this one. So if you like that, subscribe to me because it's my birthday. And for my birthday present, I want you to subscribe to me because why not? You might notice the elephant in the room, and yes, I did get my nose pierced because I wanted to. In today's video, me and Connor will be providing commentary. My nose hurts just a little bit, but if you want a sign to get your nose pierced, do it. I have been talking about this for a while, and I'm making it a really big deal because I am no longer going to be a teen. So the next section of this video, I did something and it got copyright claimed, so I apologize in advance, but you're going to hear me sing just a little bit. So I'm just warning you.
Turning 20. This is so horrible, I'm sorry.
30. You know the song from Inside? Yeah. Yes, I'm turning 20. For my present, I got myself my nose pierced and I got some manga. I'm very excited. But something that comes with being 20 is the death of me being a teenager. And while I was a teenager for a good chunk of my life, I can now look back and kind of look at the adultification of teenagers right now. And before I start, I want to say the candle of the day is champagne toast because we're celebrating the death of me being a teen. I'm going to talk about teenagers while I still can, as I am one. Not that I can't talk about teenagers when I'm not one, but do you get my vibe? Either way, let's get started with the video. So my first section is titled, You're Not Sexy, You're 14. And I say 14, but it really could apply to any age. I feel a little bit unsteady, perhaps, because the amount of children that I've been seeing specifically on TikTok, and I'm not saying that didn't happen back in the Vine days, but it's just so easy to have access to literal children on social media recently, and I don't really like that. But I feel like specifically what kind of triggered my thought process of making this video was, you know, back when WAP came out and I saw a bunch of little children like 11 through 17-year-olds doing the WAP dance. And while I will say I don't find any children attractive, I don't think they're sexy in the slightest. I think it's really uncomfortable seeing a bunch of children trying to dance sexually and having that being portrayed to a large audience of probably creepy old men. It's really unsettling, and I feel like that TikTok and social media in general has been making these kids feel like they have to be sexy and that they have to make themselves seem, you know, seductive. And it's like, no, be 14. You want to know what I looked like when I was 14 or 15 or when I was a teenager in general? This is what I looked like. And I feel like probably like 5 years ago, I remember when I was, you know, in high school, Sarah Basket had posted a video called like, Why Are Middle Schoolers So Sexy or So Attractive? Which the title sounds a little bit scary, but I promise it wasn't like that. But she's basically talking about how she felt like the middle school kids and like high school kids just look so much older than they do now. I felt very insecure about my age generally, and it's like, I know, you know, teenagers like to experiment with stuff, they love to do their makeup and everything like that, and that's great. I did makeup when I was a teenager, but I feel like that kids nowadays are trying to dress more sexy, look more sexy with all these little makeup trends and all these little dances and stuff like that. Like, it makes me kind of scared for teenagers like now, like, to be genuinely honest. Like, I'm like gonna be no longer a teen after this, and being 19, it's just so weird looking back at even the kids that I went to high school with when now they're about to graduate, which is really stressing out myself. But like, it's just really interesting to think about. Definitely just very alarming how kids feel like they have to be sexy and they have to be attractive, and it's like, you literally don't. In fact, please don't try to act sexy because it makes me uncomfortable. The amount of times that I've been scrolling through TikTok and I've seen someone and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna look at their bio, see how old they are, and they're like 16, and I'm like immediately I feel like embarrassed, like scared, like confused, because I'm like, this person looks older than I do, and
they're 16. Oh, I guess that was Connor's commentary for...
This segues into the next section, which is the whole waiting for someone to turn 18. In my personal opinion, I think that if you are a teenager, as in you are, 13 through 19, it is a little bit suspicious if a 40-something-year-old man is kind of waiting to be with you and wants to be with you, because you can go ahead and say like, oh, well, I'm just mature for my age and we just get each other. But it's like,
what do you mean by that?
How? Like, my parents are 41. What are you going to relate to them with? How are you as a 18, 19-year-old going to relate to a 40-something-year-old man? And I love Chris Evans. I do. I genuinely do. I think he's 39. But I love Chris Evans. Such a great man. But it would seem kind of suspicious as to why a grown man, I'm not talking about someone that's a 20-something, I'm talking about people that are stretching 40, 50. What can you possibly gain from a relationship like that? And I'm not saying, to me it feels like the big P, I can say orthopedic vibe, but something to think about. But the whole waiting for someone to turn 18 thing has just been really gross to me.
Do you like teenage girls?
When you say teenage, how are we talking?
Girls who are teenagers.
And I know specifically with Billie Eilish, there were countdowns waiting for her to turn 18. Even with this Vogue cover, people have been so obsessed with her, showing her body a little bit more. People just obsessed with Billie Eilish. I know with Bad Baby, when, she released her OnlyFans, people were like, oh my God, she was freshly 18, like within a week, 18, and people were obsessed waiting for her to get her thing. When Malu turned 18, like Malu Trevejo, I think that's what her last name is, obsessed with her about to turn 18, and they're like countdowns for various other TikTokers that have been waiting to turn 18. And with my 20s creeping around the corner, like James Charles on Teenage Boys, like I said, I'm 19. I don't find any children attractive. If a 17-year-old, like, I can obviously tell when someone is 17, like, I'm gonna say that, but like still, kids feeling like they have to look older and trying to make themselves look older and then seek out these older celebrities, it's gross and it's really weird and I don't like it. And obviously the adult's the one that's wrong if they want to pursue the relationship, but like still, it's yucky, to say the least. Now I kind of want to get into the whole innocent teenage girl aesthetic. Now, we all know if you were to go onto Google and search in schoolgirl, chances are the first picture is going to be a grown woman in sexy lingerie, school vibes, instead of an actual school girl. Over school boy, you see a little legitimate school-aged boy. And recently, like I said, I like anime, and obviously there are like those characters that look so young and whatever, but like it's like, I feel like if you're trying to look at sexual pictures of characters, it really says a lot to you, because there's obviously like, if you ever watched Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid, which I know you're like, wow, I watch anime, but like that's like a one I really found really cute and attractive. And it's like the fandom on Tumblr really that sounds so old, I'm like really aging myself, huh? But the fandom on Tumblr over Kana, who is a child. She goes to 5th grade. However, in dragon years, because they're all dragons, she's like thousands of years old, but she's young in terms of being a dragon. And it's like, oh, well, I'm not sexualizing a kid. I'm sexualizing a 1,000-year-old character. And it's like, if it looks like a child, acts like a child, walks like a child, it's a child. Similarly with Bisky from Hunter x Hunter. You can't sit here and tell me that like, oh, I just love Bisky, I want to sleep with Bisky. And it's like, Bisky, yeah, sure, she's a 50-year-old woman, still looks like a child, presents herself as a child, so like you're attracted to children. That's what I'm hearing. That's at least what I'm hearing, But it's kind of like I think about the whole like,
that's what I love about these high school girls, man. I get older, they stay the same age.
Why is there this obsession with innocent young girls? And it's kind of creepy when you think about the whole like guys liking girls who are shaved completely, who are inexperienced, young looking, innocent, and they want to ruin your innocence. It's kind of creepy. Like, why are you, like, it sounds like you're trying to, you know, be with a kid. Like a kid. Like, you don't want a woman, you want a child, you want a little girl, you know? That's the vibes that I'm getting from that. I don't know. Could just be me.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Maybe I'm just, you know, reading too much into this. But that's just something that I think about. And I think about specifically, you know, like Belle Delphine. If you don't know who Belle Delphine is, she is I feel like she's my age, to be honest. She could be older. But she is a British OnlyFans person. She wasn't always that, but she was kind of known for having her little cute anime wigs and doing her little anime eyes and trying to make herself look very, very young. And like, I know like it's a whole category on the hub in general, like sexual categories like that, I get it, like the teen section, young teen and all that stuff, and like barely 18, but like she very much tries to present herself as like a little kid and like trying to be sexy. And I know that she's a grown woman, and in my head I see her as a grown woman, but like I'm thinking about the older men who fetishize teenage girls and are looking at Belle Delphine like she's the closest that they're gonna get, and that's kind of gross. You know, there's a huge obsession with Lolita recently. And I don't mean like Lolita, the Japanese style, that's completely removed from this, but I mean like young, like 14-year-old girls romanticizing being with a 50-year-old man, like Lana Del Rey type vibes. And I'm like, no, please stop. You are baby. But it's just something that's interesting to me. And I really do think that this is like an issue. Like, why is it that we as the internet culture, society, whatever you want to call it, like want to sexualize teenage girls? Well, the only thing they should be focusing on is going to school. You know, and obviously I will say like going to school. I was in high school. There are plenty of kids that were having intercourse and doing, you know, well, that's not normal. My school was really weird with like, but it's common for teenagers, older teenagers to experiment with sex and stuff like that. But I wouldn't say that it's normal by any means for a 13-year-old, 14-year-old to be talking about their kinks. And yes, I literally deleted TikTok for an entire week because I saw a TikTok of this girl. And you might be asking me, sorry, how did you know what her age was? I literally clicked on her bio and it said her age, but was talking about like, oh, ranking my kinks or whatever, or like, oh, saying my kinks, but it just gets progressively worse. And it's like, what kinks do you have as a 13-year-old girl? That's kind of scaring me, honestly, if I'm being really, you know, whatever. But it's like this weird adultification of children and them wanting to grow up more and wanting to look older. It's really scary and I don't like it. Next, I want to get into the portrayal of teenagers on television. Now, I love me a good teen drama. I will say, growing up, the show that I was obsessed with was Skins. I love me a good Effie. I wanted to be her, which is depressing, but I wanted to be like Effie. I wanted to be the kids on Skins, and I watched Degrassi. I didn't watch Glee because I thought Glee was really lame.
So I also just had like a general like obsession with like MTV, like teen TV shows. So like I love Teen Wolf, Awkward, Faking It, like oh my god, Finding Carter. Like there were so many good shows and I loved them, but like they didn't like, obviously there was like some weird stuff happening in those shows, but it definitely was not like what teens are getting these days, like Euphoria and Riverdale. You know, just saying.
I had so many shows that I was like, I want to be like this, but I also had shows like Sam and Cat or Victorious who had teenage characters being played by teenagers, and it was like, oh, okay, these are teenagers. But it's like, I couldn't imagine being a teenager right now and clicking onto the CW and watching Riverdale, because it's like, I have a lot of issues with Riverdale, and I stopped watching it after season 2. Something in Riverdale got introduced, and I was like, yeah, no, this is where I'm tapping out. Like, I just can't watch this show anymore. But it's like, I couldn't imagine being like a 13-year-old clicking on and watching Riverdale and seeing like characters have literal like group intercourse. Just really weird stuff. And like, I understand that like they're TV shows and they shouldn't be real. Like, people shouldn't think like, oh, this is what school is like, this is what being a teenager is like. But it's like, you know, there's going to be that one person that believes that is how school is and believes that's how they should be developing, you know? So it's like, I'm looking for like that one person. Or like, I love Euphoria. It's a great show. I think Euphoria should take place in college. Personally, I think there should be more schools that take place in college, but that's a whole other conversation. But I feel like that there's like this huge sexualization of teen characters, and it's like I feel like you shouldn't be telling, you know, your mostly teen audience that 15 and 16-year-olds are having intercourse with each other in hot tubs on a school field trip. 13 Reasons Why. That's what I was referencing. And now, granted, that was a different situation, but I'm still saying that, like, you should not be portraying, like, these young kids who are supposed to be, like, why are you 28 years old playing a supposed to be 16-year-old kid? Or even, like, I loved Grand Army, kind of, and, like, the character, what was her name? Like, Joey, where she was wearing a white tank top with no bra and was pouring water all over herself. And it's like, yeah, I know she's a grown woman, but it's like, why are you, like, feeling the need to, like, put these 20-year-old people playing these teen characters? And I get labor laws, I understand, I know the vibe, but why would you get these characters and have them be portrayed by these like when you're closer to 30 than you are to the age of your character? It's like alarming, you know, because it's like ruining the development of characters, and it's like you think that it's something good and it's gonna help, but I feel like why would a kid jump from watching SpongeBob SquarePants to watching Euphoria? That is horrible for your development. Social media is not making it any better. You have teenagers doing fentanyl and, you know, all this stuff, going to rehab. And while I did have friends that were, you know, not friends, but people that, like, I knew that were doing hard, snorting lines, getting addicted to Xanax and all that stuff, I will say that was something that was prominent in my high school. I will say that that is not normal, and you should not expect high school to be like Euphoria, because for the majority of the population, it is not like that. And I think it does a disservice to teenagers thinking that that is how school is. School is more accurate to Sam and Cat, or Victorious, or iCarly even. Like, that should be the shows that are representative of teenage life, and not Euphoria, Skins, any of those other shows. It's just, like, not right, and I think it's wrong to sexualize teen characters in television in general. I don't want to get on my soapbox, and I don't want to sound lame, and I know I am no longer a teenager in a couple days, but I just want to say, it is okay to be a teenager. I know, shocking, right? I know, I feel like that my whole time of being a teenager, I was just focusing on turning 18. Like, I was like, I just need to turn 18, I need to graduate high school, and then my life was going to be great. I rushed through my teenhood, and I will say that I did have generally strict parents. I wasn't allowed to go out much until I was about a junior in high school, which I feel like was probably a good thing, you know, but I feel like that I kind of wanted to rush through my teenage years. I barely had any friends. I was going through so much drama, and I never actually got to sit back and enjoy, like, hey, I don't have to pay taxes, you know? Like, I don't have to work if I don't want to. Like, I didn't appreciate my teen years, my young teen years, and I really regret that. Like, I really do. And I think that while it is fun to want to grow up, and it's fun to, you know, be able to go to Taco Bell at 2 o'clock in the morning if you want to, not, you know, getting rushed. It's fun to be able to go out to clubs and to go partying and, like, all of this stuff. Enjoy high school. I know high school sucks. It sucks for me, so I'm sure it sucks for, you know, people now, and especially with this whole pandemic we have going on. School must suck right now, but, like, you should appreciate your teenage years. Have as much fun as you possibly can, even with these troubling times. Like, it is literally, you're gonna look back at your life and you're gonna wonder, like, wow, I should have done this, I should have done that, I should have hung out with that one guy, I should have asked out that one girl. Like, enjoy being a teen, you know. And I look back on my years as a teen, you know, reflecting, and I'm like, dang, like, I really, like, missed out on, like, so much stuff for literally no reason. I put myself through so much pain that wasn't necessary, you know. So I will say, you know, you don't have to look like Kylie Jenner at 15, 16. Even as an adult, you don't have to look like Kylie Jenner. You don't have to have these lives like the characters on Euphoria, you know. You don't have to do all those things. Like, if you are scared to have intercourse, don't have it. You shouldn't try to rush your childhood years, because I promise you, when you get older, you're going to be wishing for them back. Like, I miss when my biggest problem was passing my AP physics exam, you know. Like, I really miss those times. So I would say savor it, like, truly, you know. But overall, that is my advice, that is my vibe, and I will now give you guys my final thoughts. This has been a long video, huh? You know, I've been talking for like 30 minutes, so this is gonna be a rough ride because I still have to edit this, but I will say final thoughts are, I think that there is a huge amount of people that like to prey on kids, but then there's also an amount of kids that want to grow up and are trying to force themselves to grow up before they're able to. And as a person, as a kid who was forced to grow up too early, you know, we love trauma, I will say that it's not okay for the average teenager to just be, you know, twerking on, you know, TikTok, or like how you look up any like Charli D'Amelio on like YouTube, I think, and you see like, oh, Charli D'Amelio twerking, or you see like teenage, like you look up like, oh, like teen girl, you know, and the rules might be a little different now, but it's kind of scary how like like the adultification of teenagers and teenage girls mostly, but teenagers in general. Like I feel like a lot of guys feel a lot of pressure to like have as soon as possible because they have to, and there's no way that they can't do it, you know. And it's just like interesting to me. But savor your teenage years. Guys feel a lot of pressure to have intercourse as soon as possible. Girls are scared. Girls are like, I need to give it up. I need to take naked pictures of myself to keep this guy's attention. And it's like, no, you don't. You're a child. Please don't do that. That is illegal, literally. But that is all I have to say. My birthday is August 20th. So if you want to wish me happy birthday, please do. My social media is at zhariyasmith_ on Twitter and Instagram. And yeah. If you guys like this video, make sure to give it a big thumbs up because it really helps small channels like mine like greatly. Make sure to subscribe for my birthday, but also because I make good videos sometimes. And yeah, make sure to stay happy and stay healthy and stay safe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye guys.